down right there. Edit coming out from Hunter. Prime, unfortunately, does go down. However, we've seen before with this team that Flame and Hunter are the backbones. Every single time in the week they won, it was Flame and Hunter putting up absolute numbers. Not to down talk Prime or anything, but they are not unfamiliar with this situation. And the fact that they pulled zone again and they're able to rotate through, I'm still confident.
Right now playing like legends, holding it down here still. 2 eliminations. Prime is out of it at this point. Going to go for that quick edit, reset the trap on the wall. Looking to see if he can find it. Can indeed. Lezix is eliminated. Seal off the top of this box that they're sitting in and rotate around. They are, looks like, safe now in here. Chance to pick up the car to potentially make a push. If there is even still, I don't think there is a reboot van in the safe zone. Maybe Shifty, depending on. Once we see the full map, we'll have to take a look. Shifty might be the only one, but at this point, that's too far of a rotation. There's no need to worry about that. Nightmare, Ranger, Obito down at the bottom here in the river. Kind of a precarious spot to be in. They basically reclaim. That wants to take shots, if you're forced to rotate, is going to have the advantage against you. 24 trails remaining, 67 players. We have 45 seconds until we move towards Circle 4.
Yeah, and the next Storm Surge threshold after the 70 will end up being the 50. So when that one pops up, don't be surprised to see it. With that being said, after the fight with the Sam Trio, they basically had an extra 1K mats laying around. So the next zone pull, if they pull zone again, they're in such a great position. But otherwise, they still have the opportunity to kind of branch out tunnel and have a slightly safer rotation. What we're really waiting on is there's not going to be a whole lot of action for the next 20 seconds or so until that zone settles and it moves. Everyone has basically staked out their territory. We've seen a few pokes back and forth, but right now, since no Storm Surge is active, some grenades coming out right now. Oh, and this is something I want to talk about right after they go through, because we've seen the rise of the Solari nade, which is a little bit like this, but here's Godlike and Tyrax, who we saw with that early 2v3 turnaround from Godlike, trying to go on the aggressive here, and they've separated this full trio, knowing they got that. Nightmare, unfortunately, gets his ramp block, but that's not his metal wall, and that's going to complete. That's a launch pad burn for nothing, and now he's been completely segmented off. They are in zone, and it down. Great 100 tech, picks up Tyrax, but then Godlike picks it up, does cover his back, will try and get the conversion through the siphon. Can Godlike clutch it up again? He wants to get back over his teammate. Nightmare does get the conversion, and he's safe, but now what can you do as the other trio starts pouring in shots? Shield tags coming out from Ranger. Obito over there as well. But as the zone settles, if he can branch out even a little bit, he should be able to disengage. Some nades come flying in, but now it seems like they've mostly given up the fire as he's disengaged down into the water. As I say that,
this might be some of the most aggression we've seen between two trails that, honestly, with the position that they were in previously, it even surprises me that they pushed for this, because coming from the west side of the river,
they
didn't even have to get in there. But Tyrax gets capitalized on, goes down. Godlike, Tyrax, the trio eliminated. But I'm just
of your screen, and you're looking up and getting headshotted, which is what ended up happening there. But the aggression coming out from a singular nade tag when you pulled zone again, like, if the PG boys had just boxed up, like, they'd be set and they'd be good. Of explosives coming through at once. Have you noticed that every single time somebody's on the receiving end of the clip, they're sitting in a wood structure in around zone 4 or 5?
Yep.
Yo, stop building your 4, 5, and 6 zone structures with wood.
People are going to learn
and then complaining about getting Solari-nated.
People are going to learn eventually.
So build with metal, because then the first barrage comes through and it gets eaten. And if you can't throw another wall up after that, then
But you're right. Using the metal between 4 and 5 is probably one of the more important things if you think a nade barrage is going to happen, because if you don't prepare for it, that's going to happen. You're going to get eliminated.
Like, your two options are either have a hard scout looking for pre-edited cones, because that's how you line it up, or just a singular metal cone. I'm just throwing it out there. 400 HP on fully built metal.
You're not wrong. We'll say that. You're not wrong.
But now, good rotation coming out here, utilizing the launch pad. And now we're pulling in towards the half. On a mountain, you're near tilted zone, so you're either running through the river while the billy goats are up on the side, or you're being forced to go over the verticality. So these next zones are going to be key. That's why you see people burning utility now to get primary positioning here, because you're either on the high ground or you're stuck.
Ooh. Trying to take shots at more players rotating through. Carl, 1 elimination. Raid and Snoika, 3 and 1, so 5 eliminations total for this trio. 20 points, 20 trios remaining right now, 43 players. Well ahead of what the damage threshold is thus far, especially if Carl continues to hit tags, if they even have to worry about it at this point. Here we go, the next circle, looking at a northeast push back across the valley through the river. Just massive amounts of pressure. The minigun combined with a legendary AR spraying walls down. They're trying to seek out any damage tags they can, because if they do get a knock, especially in a place like this, everyone's basically pressed against the wall. You're looking at a chance where someone else is going to try and take shots at that too. Plus, Carl has 12 RPGs. Here we go. Wait for that edit. See if you can sneak one in and get a ton of damage.
You have 12. You need to start firing these off.
Honestly,
can't take them with you. Oh, there you go. Can't take him with you. As you see, he gets the 120 tag there, immediately going to start reloading. He knows people are going to move. Launchpad does come out. Good little archway edit, but oh, yeah, there you go. That was actually such a great move to get up on the high ground on the far side. Now start firing those babies off. Punish these players who are trying to rotate through right now and take advantage of your superior positioning. But right now, instead, just going to get themselves settled in the fact they're sitting on 5 elims and they have great positioning right now over the rest of the lobby. Bubble shield on top of the launch pad to prevent the immediate laser. So good little combination there and showing off the versatility of that new addition.
There we go, taking their rotation as well. Carl all the way up top. Number of players rotating on through there too. Tuna potentially going to take this trio. Going to get forced all the way down underneath a tree, basically the low ground with this many players above. 13 trios remaining at this point, which means one more needs to go down, and then placement points come out. A solid rocket! Ooh. Are you kidding me? Right through. What an angle there as Carl picks up at least, let's see, 2 knockdowns. Mine are unique. Both knocks. You see in the feed up there, which means 1 player left. There's the eliminations come out. Vinti is the last one to go down there, and this shockwave to put him at the forefront of the storm. Very, very key. Looking back down underneath, still 10 more RPG shots. Feeds one through. Another trio of 121 damage hits. Another one. Oh my gosh, the feed just does not stop for Carl, finding knock after knock. Raid does go down. You see, got to be eliminated, so they're down to only a duo. But building forward, one right in front. Another elimination there, up to 5.
Great awareness, too, to turn now with that AR towards the line, seeing the player rotate and drop down, catching him, and now he worked directly back up to Snoika. So all of a sudden, they're back together, and they're one of the few duos who is still left. Everyone else is pretty much a solo rider. You can see Flame still in the top left. Carl picked up another elim. That's another rocket finding down. No marks there, but then gets it with the AR tags. Top 4, but he gets picked up. Still 7 RPGs in there, but he had great efficiency there. Dropping down, there's 1 duo left. Otherwise, it's all solo riders. 11 elims from Snoika and his trio. Nobody wants to fall here. You want to get into top 2. There's elim number 12. There it is, and there's top 2 as Ziad goes down. It's Obito versus Snoika there. Can he close it out? Unfortunately, pinned against the wall. You have to go forward. 7 HP, but it's a wall. Straight into Obito and Ranger, the duo who is able to clean up that fight in the river, turns around the resources, runs the lobby. 13 elims, 15 points for the VR, 28 points there. That was pretty impressive, Zeke. What do you think?
I mean, look, anytime you can knock out 28 points in a single game, you're feeling pretty dang good. And I'm pretty sure the Ranger trio here was feeling pretty good after that. Now we're back here. We're joined by Shai because he's got some pretty incredible plays to take a look at.
Yeah, the main thing with Obito that I saw was crosshair placement. It was actually insane from what I saw. The way he kind of manipulates each environment he's in on where he wants to place his crosshair is amazing. So we're going to break that down real quick. We're going to get into it and see exactly how things go. Checking out the replay right now, we're going to be in Tilted Town with Ranger. So at the moment, he's going to be looking top down, making sure his crosshair is always in the middle because he knows builds actually won't come out. It's really cool to see as well, dynamically switching his spacing on where he is. He'll see a shockwave or an enemy come out from the actual house he's in. Instead of fighting him, he gets boogie bombed. He's going to go up, make sure that whenever he's going to be pumping through, it's going to be a guaranteed headshot from the top down. More pellets will actually hit in this engagement. So very good, very fast cleanup. You'll notice every pump shot he takes is a direct over 100 damage because of where he places his crosshair. Right now we're checking out his another person in the region as well. He's going to be going up and around Thunder Carl, actually moving in and out of his box on different layers. You'll see that he actually sees a lot of the zone, so when he actually jumps up with the shockwave, he can see exactly where he's going. Then we tune in back with Obito, just standard up end game, but once again, that crosshair placement from both these trios, knowing exactly what layer they're on and where to look. There's no confusion whatsoever on exactly what is going on. So off mid-ground, you want to look up a little bit, but most of the time, your crosshair tilted down, looking exactly where the enemies are. Another plus 100 pump coming through. Once again, no confusion. RPG, look for more Elam points down below. Easy shots taken, a little bit of an overpeak, but the clutch factor is always there. Once again, positioning perfectly, taking your time. The crosshair, I will keep stressing it, is so good. Just being at the perfect position possible. Less work for you, more expected. Insane plays, high accuracy. It's amazing.
Man, Obito, Ranger, and Nightmare. Now, Nightmare unfortunately was taken out, but still, an awesome game from them. 28 points. Obito really manipulating the chakra of his enemies there. If you get it, you do. If you're not, that's okay as well. With that, he got it. With that, we're getting ready to hop into... And I believe that's going to be Monster, Deface, and I. Is that correct? Monster, is that you? Oh my gosh! Wait a minute. We're not the same Wait a minute.
No, look. I have different clothes. We have different facial hair. We're two different people, brother.
We're two different people. Oh my gosh, I thought it was just me and me there for a moment. My bad. Apparently you and I are actually two completely different individuals with different voices. Now you know. Fortnite fam, we're getting ready to jump into the next set of games. What do you think so far, man? So remember, these games happened this morning, but what do you think about the Middle East?
They literally have me breathless. It's been a lot of fun. No, honestly, watching the games unfold, again, we talk about a lot. Watching new region come up, and have an opportunity at the spotlight, it's been a blast.
Well, let's not wait any longer. We're jumping into game. Here we go. This is game number 6, I believe, of heat number 2, if I'm correct. We're jumping into all of the action right now. But yeah, man, Middle East is absolutely insane. Their precision, their accuracy, their aggression, like, they are out of this world. And it's kind of crazy to think, like, they've been on this forever, you know, and now we actually get to see it. They get to show us what we've been missing.
As accurate as we thought they would be, it could just be because obviously we're taking a look at
this is just the first heat.
Regions, right, and even right there, Sam Hunter. I know that was like
Sundown.
Fallout, right? So like today, when the stakes rise, right, and then things are a little more intense, these heats are coming out. We're seeing new faces come out, and that's what matters. The players that can perform under pressure. It kind of reminds. Shout out to Fulmer. I know he pulled through in the trios division for this recent one, but Fulmer did a fantastic job in the opening session of the Winter Royale, but then he couldn't pull through in the finals, and we've seen that kind of happen. So sometimes when the pressure's on, people have a harder time. So, you know, we'll start to feel it out, see what happens when the high stakes are up, almost the same way like can Mitra, Mongrel, Benji pull it through again, which we know they probably will, but it's when the stakes rise, who comes out on top. Those are the real champions.
I think Sundown pretty much puts it best. Some days are just not going to be your days, and some days of Fortnite for you will go unbelievable. You'll find your golded out kit, right? You'll get those eliminations. You'll get those perfect rotations or those launch pads, those splashes, whatever utility item you need. And sometimes it just isn't going to go your way. So being able to kind of pivot in that moment and say like, okay, look, we landed here. We took a bad fight. What do we do right now, right? That is going to separate good players from the very best of the best, right? And I think I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. I still don't think we've seen the highest range of Middle East. I still think they have a very high ceiling, and they're just going to continue to show us what that is as the season, as this Grand Finals continues.
And talking about ceilings and shots and all that kind of good stuff, Obito actually caught a nice little headshot with the hunting rifle on one of those unsuspecting players who was firing down and did not expect that shot to come right back. Lots of offense played right there, but Steady's trying to get to that reboot card. He actually is going to pop the shockwave. And I don't know if this is the right play, putting himself at a disadvantage here. Oh, because it was only a knock, right? He didn't actually get to finish the deal, so he's going to be able to pull this revive off right here. He's going to be able to pick that player up. Obito and Ranger are now stuck in a 3v2. Remember, no one can build here in Tilted Town. It's all about the angles. Nice little camera usage right there. Getting over the shoulder. That's going to be a one-drop, two. Can he get the third right here? Connecting with so many shots. Zeke, this is going to be really close. Here it is. Oh! Hits the big pump. Ranger showing that he is not here to play any games, but Fortnite games.
I like that. Fortnite games. That was good. I like that. Man, that was crazy. But for Ranger to just immediately down two people, right, and then kind of force the enemy into that 1v1 with the chug splashes in his hand, if you're the enemy and you're popping something like a mini, you still have that, like, delayed timer, right, a minimum 2 seconds. There was some splashes there. That enemy was like, you know what, I've got the splashes, but I think I hit him pretty hard. Let's just go full send and see what happens. Now, Ranger was like, oh, are you? Please, come on over. I've got the pump ready to go, and I will down you. And that's why we saw them pick up the win last time. Again, just that aggression, that precision. These guys are executing on another level.
And that's one of the perks of battling in Tilted Town. You can really see those clutch ups happen because of the camera movement. It all comes down to angling yourself, hiding your body, and then making those shots. Here we have a little bit of a brute gameplay. We haven't seen much of the brute today in any of the regions. We just really haven't seen much.
Quickly and efficiently, or you kind of sit in a build and then you edit a roof piece off, fire out the rockets, and then re-edit here. Sykes is going to find one of the two eliminations, and they're trying to track down another one if possible. It looks like Hubo has one of the enemies there. Yo, they're going to drop down. Not today, Red Boy. Not today.
That was just too easy for them right there. Stomping the yard, bringing down the build fight. Obo was holding it down, but it was not enough here, as they walk away with a couple of elims, and they're completely capped out at this point now. Now they just have all the time in the world to heal up. They have the material source just from getting those knocks. That's going to be able to kind of replenish their pool, and it's only Zone 1. And there's already 70 players left in the lobby, so this lobby, unlike the others, has actually chopped down pretty quickly. It's because they're getting into their groove at this point. This is Game 6 of Heat 2.
Yeah, so this is pretty much, remember, the Heats are in games of 6, right? So when this happened this morning, this is it. This is a player's last opportunity. So if they're down on points, they're looking to qualify. Remember, for this region, it is top 12 that move on. So they're trying to rack up as many points as they possibly can. So they just have to say, look, cards on the table, we just have to go in. If something goes extremely well, we can potentially strike up in top 12 and move on. Or if it all goes wrong, you know, we may be outside of the range, but we need to make something big happen, and it needs to happen right now.
That takes me back to the World Cup qualifier days when Nate Hill and Funk came up out of nowhere with only a game or two left from a 30-point, I believe, and they climbed their way all the way up to like 60 or 70, pulling them all the way through to the final. So anything can happen here in these Fortnite games, really, when you put your mind to it. Sometimes the stars just align for you, really, and big plays happen. So big build battle out in the distance here, Zeke. This is your worst nightmare. Brute coming in. You don't want to be up top. You really don't even want to be here at this point because the Rain of Fire is going to start coming in now. And that is, for starters, a 50 shield pop right there. And it's Hunter, Prime, Miner, and Unique all going toe-to-toe here.
And
Hunter's already down. Prime's out.
That's it. Well, Sundown, how right were you on those predictions, my friend? Actually, he's very correct.
He's still correct.
Really good at his job. Yeah. But, yeah, the Sam remaining duo there was picked up in the crossfire, and now they're looking to try and track down the last few players. That laser designator coming out telling you, hey, rockets are inbound toward you. You might want to make a move as quickly as possible. The thing about the Brute is, don't forget, it is like, if you just beam it down, you can either laser out one of the drivers, which is the top, or the one in the legs. But look, I mean, just them focusing down, they've already destroyed 500 HP from the Brute. So if you literally just turn it down and laser it, it's going to just blow up, right? And that's the thing is, I think people haven't quite, like, adjusted to the fact, like, oh, you can actually just beam this thing down. Right, because your first intent is like, I just got to get away from it. It's like, no, literally just look at it and beam it down. I'm telling you, like, even with a minigun, you'll just shred it.
You'll see that, like, on NA East or a lot of the other competitive regions, especially the European and North American regions, they see a mech on the field, they turn, they alter. The server almost unanimously decides, hey, we're gonna fire at that.
Get
that out of here. Yep, and that's kind of the kind of focus fire you need. In situations like this, when, like you said, that team was running, they paid the price. Lost the player immediately. The team on the mountain was firing down. Had they all just focus fired, that thing would have been gone.
Right.
These players would have been exposed, and it would have been a 2v3, right? Because, look, their third is so far away. He's over here still working on the builds and stuff, looking for loot.
And we did eventually see the Brute go down, right? Because it was that team up high that did eliminate the Brute. But like you said, man, if it had just gone a little bit faster, those guys had just said, we just need a laser thing right now, would have worked. Now look at this, though. This trio, the Lil Trio, they're trying to get their way up right now. iXon is trying to go
Lil
for
Fly, Lil Daddy, Lil Exxon.
There you go.
You gotta love it. Just a bad player gets knocked right there.
I mean, look, it's not a bad player because you made it to the Heat, so you're pretty dang good. You gotta change your name, all right? Come up with some new names, and we'll circle back to you. But yeah, they're going for height, trying to isolate and eliminate this team if possible. But looking at the minimap monster, there's still, I mean, there's a trio down by the ravine here. If they decide they want some of this action, we've even seen one of the little triangles looking. You know what? It's not worth it.
We're looking over, but Exxon actually threw that shield bubble down, giving them a little bit of breathing room. And if I'm not mistaken, whatever team was climbing up there, unfortunate for them, but they went up and one player got heavy sniped, and then the bad player was shot down. Not to call him a bad player, but
that
just a bad player. That's your name, buddy. Yeah, he was shot down by the AR, so the focus fire really not going in their favor right there. They came up at the wrong time and paid the price for it. But here we have Exxon just chilling up above, whatever threats that really good for themselves. Zone 2 underway, going into 3. The Storm's already moving. They have to roll too. They're not safe just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they doesn't look like they have anything in the means of mobility. They're great on builds, though. Almost capped off, just missing some of that wood material there. But we can't even see where the new safe zone is. If you look at the bottom right minimap, and once you can start to kind of see the edge of that circle, you're like, okay, I don't actually have to go that much farther. But right now, we still can't even see it. So this circle must be, it's got to be far.
It's got to be just past. There it is. You saw a little snippet. So it's there. It's not too far. I think Exxon will probably eat a little bit of the zone pressure here.
Yeah.
For kind of biding time, getting materials. But it's more important to have those materials anyways. You kind of need them. So I don't blame them. Now jumping over to Baguette, IOV, and Cursive. They're actually in the best spot possible right now. You saw the team we were just keeping up with, the little homies down on the river over there.
The little homies.
The little homies.
There it is.
Do you remember? Do you ever remember those little homies? That was like a real reference.
Wait, you talking about like the actual, like the toy, the little homie?
Yeah, they were the little, you put a quarter in, you kind of roll for them.
Yes, I do. But people,
I had so many of those.
But see, people that are much younger than us have no idea what we're talking about.
We're so old, Zeke.
We're so old.
And we look alike.
There you have it. There you have it. Cursive, what in the world?
Nice
so don't
shots.
forget, this Crix was Six, was one of the people in that brute we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And now look, he's like, hey, give me an opportunity. Let me just beam your face off. There you go. He got the opportunity.
Taken right out, and oh man, all these players are trying to get this freebie pass here with that launch pad, but another player goes down. It's going to be Trigger. QQ Unique is going to get taken out. Cursive putting monstrous pressure up with the scoped AR, which a weapon we just do not see shine enough. And it's gotten so many changes, so many great changes. They increased the damage on it. It no longer has damage drop off. It's 100% accurate. It's actually a fairly useful rifle, especially for long range like that. You can chip away at players. You see the marking coming out perfectly as well, just letting his teammates know, hey, I hurt that guy. This guy's shot right here. He's doing a really good job controlling the field here.
And the thing is, at least I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the reason we don't see a lot of the scoped AR is because the infantry rifle kind of does the same thing, but the infantry rifle is more useful at close quarters, right? Because when you scope in with the AR, you're not going to do that at point blank, and the crosshair is way too big to try and take that engagement. But if you point blank someone with the infantry rifle, which everyone can do, because like this is the very best of the best, right? That's where all these flick shots come out. They're going to hit you for 80+ damage right to your face, right? So I think that's probably why he has that scoped AR. If he probably could find an infantry rifle, he might opt to swap it out. And maybe this player loves the scoped AR because I think it's a great weapon. But that's probably why we don't see that weapon as much as we probably should.
Yeah, you're right. The infantry rifle, and it just hits harder, right? You know, why hit for 26 when if you're going to peak like that, he'll hit you for 41?
Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Like, yeah, you don't get the zoomed in scope, but I mean, if I just put this crosshair over that pixel and I get that damage number,
which they do.
They do. They don't miss. That's why they are here. That's why they've made it to these heats, and they're looking to make it into grand finals. I mean, this is the very best of the best, man.
We're chiseling it down right here, but nice heavy snipe attempt right there. He's not going to quite connect. Now here comes a rotation.
You can get this. You can get
he's
this.
Waiting.
Focus.
The strafe. You stand still. You eat the bullet. It's Cursive who goes down. Little X on here. Lands a monster shot. He's now trying to knock him off that ground right there. See if he can force that player down to convert on the elimination here, Zeke.
That's crazy. On Cursive, of all people, like, we just left him beaming players left and right. Like, you cannot stand still. You just cannot. We call that gargoyling. You cannot sit there like a gargoyle and stand still because these heavy snipes will come out. They will drop you every single time. And that's what our little homies just did. I tried not to laugh. I really did. Oh, gosh. Anyway, that's what Exxon did. He was like, you waited. And you saw the patience, right? Because he could have taken a shot at any moment. But he said, look, this guy's going to stand still. Cursive will make the mistake. I'm just going to wait. And sure enough, it happened.
That's right, and man, they managed to pull that revive off, which you really only see in trios, right? Even though they tried to full send, just one person playing defense is just good enough to kind of hold out and get those saves off. So lucky for them, Cursive is going to be able to pop his minis there. You saw him; he's still in the running here. But we have a battle now on the Storm line back here. EG's under fire right now. They're still 3-1 in this situation. It's one tap, boom, who gets hit with a big shot right there, puts him right down.
And another one, a follow-up to Dev there. That was okay, Tormund. Those flick shots were out of this world.
Wait a second. Was that did he no-scope him in the face? Like, what just happened right there?
Dude, honestly, I blinked and I missed it. That's how good ME is. But, dude, look at this loadout right now. So this is what we kind of talked about, right? So similar loadout to what we saw from Cursive. The difference is he is rocking the legendary infantry rifle instead of that scoped AR. So, you know, your loadout's very much going to dictate what you can and can't do. And right now, Tormund has a lot. Okay, I was about to be like, bro, did you just like body shot that?
That looked like
that would have been so dope. Close. Very close, though.
Very, very close indeed. So they're facing up a tough rotation here. They have a long way to go. There's a team perched up on the high ground, team to the left, team based up in front of them, one down in the ditch below them. This is a struggle of a rotation. I mean, they do have shockwaves, and look, they're looking at the extra mass. They're looking at the extra trap in the zone like, hey, buddy. Okay, lucky for them, they do have a launch pad. They're going for that immediate launch pad play. Have to hug the mountain right here. There it is. They're going to go in and a little bit, and lucky for them, they do not get the focus of the server as they make it across the river here now.
But look on the little hill there that was on their left. Obito Nightmare and their third partner is here. They are here ready to potentially take another win if possible. Now, these guys are already sitting on 4 eliminations, which, by the way, 4 eliminations halfway through your game in a server like this speaks volumes in itself. Like, it's either one of 2 things, right? They had that early drop, they contested a team, and they eliminated them, or what we saw is they said, you know what, it's almost late game, we're moving it in there, let's try double heavy snipe, and the rocket launcher monster, they can make some plays.
That's right. With the heavy sniper, with their RPG, it actually looks like they're poised up for one right now. There goes the heavy snipe to open up a box right there. They find a brute. In comes the shots. They just want to expose that brute, get as much damage in it as possible. And that's a 121
on
that's going to connect with 2 players right there. That's huge. That team is going to be in a world of hurting. In comes the RPG. Heavy snipe play right there. Cracks it right open. LX KBR goes down. In comes another rocket, and they just wipe that entire team up.
But see, that's the difference, right? Earlier on in the match, we saw the brute kind of terrorizing a few different trios. But this is exactly what you want to do. I quickly identified that's a brute. And look at that. They just immediately destroyed that entire trio almost effortlessly, right? Like, the only thing they really traded was a few AR rounds, which looking at just Pro here, Lax, he's got almost 800 rounds of AR, completely topped off on rockets. He used, I think, 4 rockets back there, if I remember correctly, all to just pick up another trio. Like, that's huge, and that's just going to continue to propel him. It's also going to remove that brute from play. So, because if that had gone into late game, that would have definitely devastated the battlefield.
They get a free launch pad. We like to call these the community launch pad. Sharing is caring in the situation here where they get that freebie rotation. Anyone nearby gets to kind of skate on out of there as well. And here's a look at your server. As you see, there's still a couple of faces to look out for here. Ranger, Nightmare, and Obito. Team that was battling there, and it's going to work out. They're gonna get this high ground. The shockwave is going to come up. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. Things are going to pause up a bit here. These Rangers still, they're very high though. His boys are battling here, Zeke.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have the loadout. Like, unless he has, like, I was going to say the only thing he can do is shockwave here, but, I mean, or just catch Mood completely off guard. That is a 100 to the back of his head, and they're going to drop him and find potential more loot. There is an edit peek going on, and there you go. See ya later. I'm so sorry. I'll just see myself out here. See, I did it twice.
Later. Taken out right there by the MES boys. That was actually
we got our jib really operator intense. Over here, Nicole. She's dying. She's dying. I got one person to laugh. We did it, boys. All right.
Was it worth it, Zeke?
Yes, it was. It's always worth it. Ranger and Obito here. Now, the question is, did Nightmare go down, or is he just lower somewhere else? Okay, so Nightmare is actually down. Ranger has 4 eliminations, and Obito is the 1. So that means it's just going to be them for the rest of the game, because there's no way you're getting a revive off at this point in the game.
Look how high up they are as well. They're so high up right here.
Really
They only
scary.
have 1 shockwave.
This is too scary.
But, I mean, they got the elims while on the high ground, so you know they just replenished a ton of material. The question is it enough?
Oh,
no,
God, the rocket!
It's not enough.
No, the rocket, you got to launch.
Okay. Yep, there it is. They saw it coming. He shockwaves right off. He still manages to land on high ground, and more shockwaves are now coming out. But him and his duo that remains from this trio here are left alone to battle this server out.
And Ranger had a shockwave that he used to get much further down, so they're very far apart right now. But Ranger's doing okay, just took a big hit, and his shield got chunked down. They have to try and regroup if possible, but I mean, everyone else in the lobby is onto what they're doing. Now, he's going to find Baguette here, his deliciousness, and he's going to try and get some of that potential loot. More shockwaves are coming through, so now he can try to make more plays. The question is, where is Ranger? Like, Obito's making a play for high ground again. He's like, look, I don't know what you're doing. I've got to try and get back up to high ground. Because of that, Ranger falls, and now look, Obito has unfortunately launched himself behind everyone.
No.
No shotgun gun can help you there. It's a tough life to live.
Is trying to hold it down, trying to stay in the running here. He has 1 shield bubble remaining. If he uses it, he can't fire up. if he doesn't use it, he kind of goes down without it. It could be the difference in keeping him in the game here. He's going to run for the mats. There's going to be huge mats. He actually didn't have any up until that point. There's a minigun. There's an RPG right next to him. He's going to focus the RPG player instead of using that to his advantage here. So now he's left in a 1v1 situation. He did get one material off of that. That's all he has. Can he connect? Zeke here. He has one more shot to make, and he does connect. Not Weevil falls in the final moments. Gentle somehow pulling it all together, making the right decision to hit in his shots.
That is absolutely insane. With no materials, constantly having to scavenge. Gentle there made it all work in his favor. And don't forget, that was one of the trio we saw in the very beginning that started the game with the Brood. So they still play second because of that.
Thank you so much, Zeke and Monster. And what I got will be some highlights from that last game we just saw, and then the final results from Heat 2 of the Middle East. So we'll see who's going to round out the second half of that roster in the grand finals tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at some of the action that went down and what led to the final moments. So first, we're hopping on board. We saw Thunder Carl have a great game previously with those Rockets in the last game. Got to watch him break that down, having a very strong early game here, able to put to work with that recently unvaulted TAC SMG, the high rate of fire just ripping apart. You can see Reed able to follow up right away, putting the two tactical weapons to great tactical use there, cleaning that one up and closing out the fight. Now, we talked about kind of the limited weaknesses the Brute has and how it can kind of affect it right here. You're third partying somebody who's already at multiple levels. There is no way they're going to be able to turn and react. That is basically free mowing for the Brute. Now, it does end up getting focused down eventually, but not before they're able to pick up a massive advantage from just showing up to the fight at the right time. Now, we're going to rotate over again, because notice, we're just inside the placement threshold here, and Gentle is all by his lonesome, and this is what we talked about in the Middle East, how the gameplay tends to break down towards the end. People lose a little bit more of their teamwork compared to the other regions, and that's what allows Gentle to just out-survive the rest of the lobby, picking up a number of clutch elims at the end, which ends up pushing him up a difference of 9+ points there from the placements and the eliminations he was able to get, those final moments being enough to push them up into the grand final territory. Let's take a look at the standings, and I mean, you can see them right up there on the board as well. Just a great performance coming out, the results coming on here, and like, again, my pick right there, Prime, Aflame, and Hunter, but also shout out to Obito, Nightmare, and Ranger for their great performance, the trio playing out of India. So again, I love seeing these different regions being able to go through. We will actually also see the next page as well, since the top 16 are the ones who are advancing, so you can see the line right there. And again, the one thing I want to note is the difference of how many in Fortnite, when all the little plays matter. Right here, the line, it's 1 point. That's one elimination. That's getting one other revive. That's finishing one other knock, but able to push through One-Shot Soriana and Power RV. So honestly, the field is now set. Both of the trios who we predicted will be competing in the grand final tomorrow, and I'm excited because we'll get an opportunity to see some of those matches and crown our first ever Season X champion. So it's going to be great. We've seen a lot of Middle East so far. That's it for the games from them. We're going to throw it to a quick 5-minute break while we get ourselves situated, use the bathroom, do anything, go walk your dog real quick, get some water, get some food in you, because we're going to do the same, and then we'll be back with more Fortnite action.
region. You know, we constantly see new things coming out of Brazil, new